Debunking FloJo. Was the fastest woman on Earth a cheater? Track's greatest mystery. Humans really are the most complex species to have ever graced Mother Earth. Our evolution is often met with an immense amount of questions, theories, and all-around moments in time where people have done the unimaginable. But how? A question sports fans from all over have asked time and time again regarding one, if not the greatest athlete to touch track and field, Florence Joyner, famously known as Flo-Jo, accomplished the impossible during the U.S. Olympic trials of 1988, setting an impossible 10.49 world record that till this day still hasn't been beat. Just a decade later, Joyner passed away in her sleep at the age of 38, leading many to speculate if Flo-Jo's Mojo was due to an improvement in her training or if the impossible was achieved due to the unthinkable, or illegal. Where would we be if it weren't the innovative inventors tapping into the parts of their minds that most are too afraid or unknowledgeable to tap into? What if Garrett Morgan never invented the 3-signal stoplight? If Willis Carrier never innovated air conditioning? If Steve Jobs and his partners never created Apple? Or if the Wright brothers never assumed humans can fly in the sky via a controlled airplane? Evolution has shown us that what we may call the impossible can be very much possible. Back in the late 80s, Florence Joyner took the world of sports by storm when she achieved the impossible, a world record in the women's 100-meter dash that till this day still has yet to be touched. It's been 35 years since Florence set track ablaze. Female athletes have come close to touching that 10.49 time, yet no one has been able to achieve it. But how come? You'd think with modern technology, better access to the best trainers in the world, and advanced health practices, that someone would easily touch Joyner's score. Jamaican runner Elaine Thompson actually beat Flo-Jo's 10.62 Olympic 100-meter score with a time of 10.61 at the Tokyo Olympics held in 2021. Although Elaine Thompson-Herah is now considered the fastest woman in the 100-meter Olympic dash, no one has still been able to top Flo-Jo's world record of 10.49. Born in 1959 in Los Angeles, California, since she was young, Florence Griffith had a knack for the track. The seventh kid out of 11, her parents, an electrician father and seamstress mother, had their hands full. Since elementary school, Flo joined the Sugar Ray Robinson organization, which had her running track meets on the weekend. At ages 14 and 15, she went on to win the Jesse Owens National Youth Games back-to-back, and continued her love for track all the way, surpassing high school, running at Los Angeles Jordan High School. It would have been here at Jordan High that Florence's love of fashion kicked into overdrive. Convincing the other girls to take more of an interest in their athleisure, Flo convinced the track team to sport leggings under their uniforms. An athlete and a fashionista, her passion for fashion, as you know, would go on to serve her real well. By 1978, Florence was now a senior in high school and one of the greatest high school athletes of her time. At the California State meet, she finished 6th behind fellow teammates Pam Marshall and Alice Brown, and by the time she graduated, she had already set multiple high school records in long jump and running. Her years of high school would prepare her for the college years that ultimately shape her for the rest of her career. An attendee at California State University, she was now on a track team coached by Bob Kersee. The team won the national championship in Flo's first year there, but her family was in desperate need of financial help, resulting in Florence dropping out, picking up a bank teller job. Being one of the best he's ever seen, Bob Kersee was going to get his Flo-Jo back by any means. Financial aid had been her and his saving grace, resulting in Flo's return back to college and the track. Now residing at UCLA, Bob trained Flo and the team to the best of his abilities, and they'd eventually qualify for the 100-meter finals at the trials for the 1980 Summer Olympics. Joyner finished last during the final and 4th during the 200-meter. But fortunately for her, the United States government were boycotting the following Olympics to protest against the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. By 1983, Florence, now with a bachelor's degree in psychology, was officially a college graduate and just getting started on her Olympic career. She had yet to win a gold medal in any Olympic Games, but the Games were just getting started, and so was she. The same year she graduated would be the same year she'd finish in 4th place in the 200-meter sprint at the first World Championship in athletics, qualifying her for next year's Olympic 200-meter, giving us the second fastest time at the U.S. Olympic trials. 1984's Summer Olympics would be the next Olympics where Flo was able to show off her skills, where she won the silver medal. Soon after, we'd see Flo-Jo less and less, as she spent less time running, taking up the sport only part-time. Don't get it confused though, because Flo-Jo was still racking up those W's. winning the 100-meter Grand Prix final before returning to her bank teller job the following year, while styling hair and doing nails on the side. Joyner let some years pass before making her grand entrance to the sport in April of 1987. Now married to Olympic triple jump champion Al Joyner, she had a new focus, new motivation, and a new set of goals along with a new set of nails. The U.S. Olympic trials were set to take place, and although Flo was still being trained by her coach, Bob Kersey, who just so happened to be the brother-in-law of her then-husband Al Joyner, Bob was only set to train Flo 2 days a week, while her husband coached her 3 days a week. Over time, Flo overall improved bit by bit, setting personal bests, but not the best of all time. A personal best of 10:89 in the 100 meters of June of 1988 still wasn't beating out Evelyn Ashford's top 3 bests. A week before the Olympic trials, FloJo's time stood at 10:99. So imagine everyone's shock when during the first race of the quarterfinals, she ran the 100-meter sprint in just 10.49 seconds, a whole 0.27 seconds faster than Evelyn Ashford's. Over the course of the 2-day trials, Flo set the top 3 fastest times ever for a woman in the 100-meter and set an American record at the 200-meter distance with a time of 21:77. Immediately, speculations arose regarding Joyner's time. The unbeatable 10.49 raised concerns about a possible technical malfunction regarding the wind gauge used in the race. Given the windy conditions during FloJo's performance, some believe that the wind could have helped propel her over the finish line, resulting in the 10.49 timing. However, wind aid during runners' competitions isn't some type of track phenomenon, and if wind aid was the sole reason behind Joyner's speed, then surely someone else out there would have been able to equal or beat her time, and yet it's been over 30 years and no one has touched that record. So much so that even scientific studies were implemented by World Athletics and independent organizations who have since come out and said that there was in fact an illegal tailwind of between 5 meters per second through 7 meters per second. Now y'all can do with that as you will. Joyner's world record has not been annulled after the discovery, but the International Athletics Annual of the Association of Track and Field Statisticians has since listed it as a probable strong wind-assisted race. She was now a world record holder and yearned for more endorsement deals and opportunities. Since Coach Kersey couldn't provide her with that, she gave him the boot as her coach and manager, stating she wanted a more personal experience. Now under the management of Gordon Baskin, Flo left UCLA in favor of UC Irving, with husband Al Joyner now as her full-time coach. By this point, FloJo was that girl. Though she had been that girl, FloJo was now the one to beat, the one everyone had their eyes on, and now the girl everyone wanted to look like. Her colorful long nails, often bedazzled and custom to her liking, accessorized her athletic wear, which were truly one of a kind. A departure from the jockey gym look of other competitors, a bold, fashion-forward take unlike any of the sports world had ever seen. As Flo always said, dress good to look good to feel good, and feel good to run fast. At the 1988 Summer Olympics, during the 100-meter final, she ran a personal Olympic best of 10.54, beating out Evelyn Ashford by 0.30 seconds. The world records just kept on coming. In the 200-meter semifinal, where she set the world record of 21.56 seconds, and then broke her own record by 22 seconds by winning the final with a time of 21:34. Her team won the 4x100-meter relay, becoming her first internationally rated race. She won 4 Olympic medals that day, 3 gold and 1 silver. She was at the peak of her career. The millions received in endorsement deals were off the charts. She made a deal with LGN Toys to create her own FloJo Barbie, served as co-chair of President's Council on Physical Fitness, guest appeared in shows like 227, and designed the basketball uniforms for the 1989 Indiana Pacers NBA team. The entire world knew her name, but even a year would go by before the gorgeous FloJo announced her retirement from racing, citing business opportunities outside of the sport, and this is where things start to get a little ugly. Opposing fans and viewers were more than convinced that FloJo would be a no-go if it weren't for a little help from the juice, and I ain't talking about OJ. Was FloJo's time due to PEDs or performance-enhancing drugs? Some really believe so. Some athletes, like fellow runners Ben Johnson and Joaquim Cruz, have come out and expressed their disbelief in FloJo's drastic improvement over a short period of time. Flo's physique was also heavily criticized. Noticing Flo's much more muscular build, a drastic change from her previous frame made the speculations even more consistent. However, Flo insisted that the change-up in her physique was due to a switch in exercise and diet. A heavily speculated 5,000 daily sit-ups, yes I said 1,000, and more lower body strength exercises like lunges and squats. Despite numerous reports stating otherwise, some just aren't convinced that Florence Joyner didn't achieve her world records on her own. Ain't that much good training and exercise in the world? So what is the truth? Well, unfortunately, on September 21, 1998, Florence Griffith Joyner passed away in her sleep due to suffocation brought on by an epileptic seizure at the age of 38. The sudden death at her young age brought on even more talk of steroids and drug usage. However, according to the coroner's office, the only drugs found in FloJo's system at the time of her death were over-the-counter medications, acetaminophen, and the antihistamine Benadryl. She had suffered from a seizure before in 1990 and had been treated for them in both 93 and 94. FloJo's world records may have been wind-aided, but the fact of the matter still stands, and it's that Florence FloJo Joyner is still one of the greatest female athletes to ever live. Her extraordinary style inspired a plethora of athletes after her, Serena Williams being one of them. And despite the allegations of performance-enhancing drugs, no actual evidence of drug usage has been found. The naysayers can come up with as many think pieces as they'd like, but FloJo will forever be an icon, and they are just going to have to deal with it. In the words of FloJo herself, "I believe in the impossible because no one else does." Do you think FloJo ever used performance-enhancing drugs? Let us know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments, and stay tuned for more true celebrity stories.